My dear respected brothers, sisters, elders, youngsters, we discussed last Jum'ah about a very particular topic, and this topic was focused around actionable items on how a person can become amongst those people that is highly driven, can become amongst those people that is constantly motivated to achieve excellence in every aspect of his life. And that very topic we will continue on today, inshallah, so that we can finish off the very discussion that we started. Understand, my brothers and sisters, that when a believer, when a Muslim is a high achiever and extremely motivated, there are not many things in life that can actually stop him. A person that understands his or her purpose of life, you could put anything in front of him or her. You could say whatever you want to her. You could say whatever you want to him. You can treat them a certain way. You can talk to them a certain way. But it won't affect them. Because for them, those are just obstacles that fall in place. For them, it's just a matter of obstacles that they have to overcome. For those people that are high achievers in life, obstacles don't matter because they are part of life and they understand that. And last week, we discussed this very topic by analyzing two important aspects. The first aspect that we discussed was manazilul himma, and the second aspect we briefly brought up was manazilul haya. These are two stations, these are two places where a person has a station under. But what does it mean? What does manazilul himma and manazilul haya mean? The first one is manazilul himma. And we went into somewhat of a detail, but we had to kind of close the chapter off because of lack of time. But today we will go in more elaboration to better understand what is manazilul himma, and then inshallah we will finish off by discussing manazilul haya. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to become people that understand and become amongst those people that are extremely high achievers in life, inshallah. Starting with manazilul himma. It is that station for a person that in Arabic it means, manazil means station, and al-himma means in Arabic that a person who intends and has a desire for something. He wants to achieve something, he has a desire for something, and to find a person in the state of a place where he wants to find himself in the state of desiring something, that is what manazil al-himma means. Al-himma in Arabic means to desire something. And it comes from the root word him and hamma. But it also means in Arabic that a person, himma or hamma in Arabic also means that a person that's deeply concerned. He's worried about something. And you will find people that are constantly worried about something, they will want to achieve the things that they're worried about the most. If you're worried about a certain aspect, or maybe your child, or maybe your parents, or whatever you're worried about, you will always try to become amongst those people that will try to fix the worry before it overtakes you. So that is what manazul himma is. But the problem is that we live in a life where we may find ourselves trying to achieve something, or we may find ourselves trying to be able to accomplish something in life. But unfortunately, the world that we live in, it's filled with distractions. It is a world where every aspect of life, wherever you go, you drive on the highway, you see billboards distracting you. You have apps on your phones that are distracting you. You even try to accomplish the simplest tasks of texting someone, and you put all these to-do lists on your phones, and you get a nice calendar and you try to organize your life, but yet you find yourself still not being able to accomplish what you set out to do because of the distractions that life brings. So what do we do? With all these distractions in life, how do we stay on the path so that we don't get distracted and go away from the focus of life. Or even simple as this, go away from the to-do list. How do we not get distracted? As simple as completing our to-do list. The reality is, my brothers and sisters, I can sit here all day, every khutbah, talking about the same topic, and you can come to every khutbah listening to the same topic. The truth is, there is no one in this world that can tell you and I, even myself, to do something if you don't want to do it yourself. I can go all day, all night that we have to do this as an ummah, we have to achieve this and achieve this. But if we don't want to do it ourselves, it doesn't matter how many times you hear it, we just won't want to do it. We have to find within ourselves that feeling or that desire of wanting to achieve it. We have to look at our inner soul, inside our heart, inside our mind, and try to figure out what is it that will allow me to continue to motivate my own self. Because today you can be motivated for 30 minutes. You listen to a beautiful khutbah, you walk out, mashallah, you call your wife, you call your daughter, you call your son. Oh, mashallah, the khatib spoke very well. And then 2 hours later, you forgot, everyone forgot, you get back to work. And again, that's okay to feel that way. It's okay to go into those, pitfalls of distractions, because we all fall into those distractive moments. But the reality is, how do we go from being active for 30 minutes after a beautiful khutbah or after a beautiful, discussion about a certain topic to continuously become amongst those people that become high achievers in life? I, as a person, don't want to be motivated for 30 minutes only. I, as a person, don't want to be amongst those people that says to himself, you know what, I'm good till Monday. You know what, I listened to something so fascinating on TikTok or Instagram Reels and I'm motivated. And very rarely that motivation will be everlasting. So today's topic, Manazilul Himma, is about how can me as a person, as an individual, look at ourselves first before anyone else. How can I as a person continue to become amongst those people that achieve the best and always constantly focus on the excellence of this world? So let's ask the question, what motivates us? Everyone has their own, things that motivate yourself. Some people are motivated by the society that they sit in. Maybe they have good families that constantly remind them, which is a good thing. But again, those family members sometimes get busy in their life or they get demotivated. And then when you see them demotivated, you're also demotivated. So it's not everlasting. Sometimes you're in a social circle that is a very, very aggressive social circle. But then all of a sudden your minds don't meet. So all of a sudden now you've lost your social circle. And then when you lose that circle, what happens? You're no longer motivated. There are some people in this world, pride is what motivates them. And what do I mean by that? If the doctor tells them, look, you're not going to lose weight. Your cholesterol will stay the way it is, so the best thing to do is start taking cholesterol medication. There are some people in this world, the doctor will tell them, you know what? From now on, you have to take high blood pressure medication. It runs in your family. You're not going to lose weight. You haven't done it in 45 years. It's not going to happen now. But you know what? Those words hit that individual so hard internally that he's such a prideful person that he says to himself, how dare he say that to me? Does he know my life? How dare he say that to me? And that pride allows that person to lose weight and get off of the medications that the doctor prescribed him to be on. And he says, no, he can't do that. He can't say that to me. Sometimes people are so prideful that allows them to be motivated every aspect of their life. But then what happens when he loses that weight or she loses that weight? Back to square one. It's not everlasting. Then you have another person that finds a purpose in something. And he sees that there's a purpose in continuing to strive in this path. Whether it's work, whether it's whatever he may be trying to achieve. He sees that there's a purpose behind it. His purpose is that if I try to get this degree, inshallah, I'll get a beautiful job. When I get a beautiful job, I'll have a beautiful wife. And from that beautiful wife, I'll buy a mansion, I'll buy a car, and all of these things. And he sees a purpose. And that purpose allows him to continue to be motivated. But a time comes that all of that he tried to work towards, he's already achieved. And now he's 35, 40, 45 years old. He lives in a beautiful house, he has a beautiful wife and a car, and he has everything he ever wanted. But deep down inside, he finds there's something missing. He's not happy. He's not motivated to go forward. Because all of these aspects that we think of in this world, they're not everlasting. They allow you to reach a certain stage in your life. And after you've reached that stage of life, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm no longer motivated. There's no point. I'm bored. You know, like the kids say, you tell your kids, hey, switch it off and do something else. And they have TVs, they have games, and they have bikes, and they have all of these things that they can do. But they keep nagging to the parents, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. We grew up in the 90s, you parents can testify to this. We had nothing. We had no phones, we had nothing. We figured out how we can get out of boredom. But our kids today, they can't get out of that mindset. I'm bored, I don't know what to do. Again, focusing on the bigger picture. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Prophet Moses alayhi salam is the best example of this. And we mentioned this last week, that when Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was on his mission to spread the deen, the first thing he did when he saw oppression happening, because he grew up in an environment filled with oppression. And when he saw oppression happening, what happened? It hit him from the inside. It struck him so severely that he says, you know what? I'm not going to allow oppression to go forward in this world. And he grew up in that environment of seeing people oppressed. When you grow up in an environment and you dislike that environment, you become the total opposite of that individual. You grow up around a parent that is constantly strict, you will find that same child that when he has children, he won't be as strict. Because you feel a certain way as you grow in life. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam saw oppression firsthand. So in one occasion, he sees two people fighting. He got upset and he hit one of them, and he hit him so hard that he passed away by mistake. It was a mistake, pure mistake. But when he hit that person, he didn't stop his mission and say, you know what, I have to calm down a little, because I'm just gonna hit a person and they're gonna pass away. Nothing stopped the prophets alayhimu salatu wassalam from moving forward in life regardless of the mistakes that they committed. As a matter of fact, not only was he not stopping from his mission, he makes dua to Allah. He says, Rabbi inni dhalamtu nafsi faghfir li faghfara la. Innahu huwa al-ghafur rahim. Oh Allah, I committed an act of wrong. I've made a mistake. Oh Allah, forgive me. You are the all-forgiving. You are the most merciful. Allah forgave him. It was a mistake, a pure mistake. The second day came around. The next day, again he sees a few people fighting. He didn't hold back and say, you know what, I can't do that because I committed a mistake yesterday and then I can't move forward now. You know what our problem is as an ummah? Our problem is that we look at our past and we say, you know what, I made that mistake, and that mistake never allows us to move forward in life. My brothers and sisters, understand we're human. Understand that you and I, we will make mistakes. Don't allow your mistakes to hold you back from future that is about to happen for you. The goodness that is coming in your future, don't get so caught up in your past that, you know what, I grew up in a broken family. Oh, subhanallah, I came from this such hardship and this hardship. We're constantly looking for people to be able to look at us and say, oh man, this brother, miskeen, he went through such a hard life. Don't look at your past in a way that you're not able to move forward. We're all able to move forward. Forget the past. The past is supposed to be a past. It's supposed to happen. We're supposed to make mistakes because we're humans. If we don't make mistakes, then we're angels, and none of us are angels. If we're angels, then You shouldn't be praying salat behind me because I'm a human, you know. We're all human beings. We're all going to make mistakes. Let the past be the past. That's the reality. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam understood this. And we see examples after examples through history, through the books of history. We saw apartheid happening in South Africa. One man saw that it was not okay for people to separate the blacks and whites. So he said, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen. On my watch, this will not happen. So a man by the name of Nelson Mandela gets up and he says, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to happen. So what do? They put him in jail. For 27 years, this man stayed in jail. Not only did he stay in prison for 27 years, but at the same time, he was in solitary confinement. What does that mean? He was left alone in his own thoughts. Some people, we as human beings, we can't even sit in a room with our own thoughts because we get frightened. We're scared of our own thoughts. That's how we are. That's how we've become. They put him in prison for 27 years in solitary confinement. A man that comes out of prison after 27 years, what do you think he'll do? Most of us, you'll say, you know what, he'll give up, he'll retire, he'll take his, he'll take his government checks and he'll live his life the way he wanted to live. But no, that lit a fire inside this man's heart that he never stopped. As a matter of fact, the aggression for stopping, oppression to happen, it became double. He made a double the work after he came out. We have to find that objective in life, my brothers and sisters. We have to look deep into our heart. What is it that will motivate us and allow us to continue to move forward in life? This is why you see Musa alayhi salatu wasalam able to commit acts that he was able to fulfill his mission for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why you see people like Nelson Mandela did not stop in his life. This is why you see prophets after prophets descend down into this world, regardless of the hardships that they went through. They never stopped. The mission doesn't stop. We have to continue. If you can't memorize the Quran, it doesn't mean you stop there. It means you continue. This is why the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, a man that can't memorize and he can't understand how to memorize, he doesn't get one reward, but rather he gets two rewards. One for the struggle and one for the memorization. As a believer, you and I, we have to figure out what will allow us to be motivated individuals. You will have something which I won't have. I will have something that you won't have. Internally, you have to figure that out. Internally, that's a journey of your own, that how can I allow myself to be motivated in life? How can I allow myself to become a person that understands the mission of this world? Every one of us has this mission. Every one of us has to achieve. But you know what? You find so many people, they come to me and say, you know what, I don't know, I'm just not motivated. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move on with my life. And I'll give you one example of this. To get yourself out of this mindset, do one thing. Every night, take a piece of paper out, take a pen out, pencil, whatever you want to write with, or even your phone. But I wouldn't use phone because even that will distract us and we'll get caught up in something totally different and won't be able to do this. Get a piece of paper out, pen, and write down your thought of how or what your message will be when you're on your deathbed. Ask yourself, what is my message to the world, to my family, to my children? When I am on my deathbed, what is my message to my kids? Ask yourself that. This is called the deathbed experience. And this deathbed experience is mentioned in the Quran. Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, in that very occasion you find that he gave a deathbed experience, though it may not be written, but Allah defines it in the Quran and he brings it up in that very ayat of the Quran where Allah says, Am kuntum shuhada'a idh hadara Yaqub al-maut. that when Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam was close to his death, what does he say? إِذْ قَالَ لِبَنِيهِ, he says to his children, لِمَ تَعْبُدُونَ مِن بَعْدِي, who are you going to worship after I leave? That was his deathbed experience. That was him asking his children about his own legacy. That after I leave the world, what do you plan to do in life? Yes, they're all going to want to get beautiful careers. I'm not talking about careers. We spent our whole life around trying to figure out how we can get our children into the best careers of this world. We spent our whole life doing that, and we continue to strive in doing that. I'm talking about something greater than that. What legacy are you leaving behind for yourself? That when your children look at you on your deathbed, that they're able to say, you know what? I'm able to get up in my life. Your child is able to say, I'm able to stand up every day proud because my father left this legacy behind. The poet, he says, وَلَدَتْكَ أُمُّكَ يَا بْنَ آدَمْ بَاكِيًا وَالنَّاسُ حَوْلَكَ يَضْحَكُونَ سُرُورًا فَاعْمَلْ لِنَفْسِكَ أَن تَكُونَ إِذَا بَكَوْا فِي يَوْمِ مَوْتِكَ ضَاحِكًا مَسْرُورًا. That this world, when you and I came into this world, when the children of Adam came into this world, وَالنَّاسُ حَوْلَكَ يَضْحَكُونَ سُرُورًا, every person, every family member was excited to see Zayd in this world. Abdullah came to this world. Zainab, Fatima, and all of the parents are extremely happy. Everyone is bringing gifts. Everyone is excited that, mashallah, you have a child born in your family. The poet, he says, فَعْمَلْ لِنَفْسِكَ أَن تَكُونَ إِذَا بَكَوْا. Do such deeds in your life that you are leaving the world. You are happy to meet Allah, but people are sad to see you leave. Do such deeds in your life that when you came into the world, people were happy to see you come into this world, but they're sad to see you leave. That's the vision we need to live by. That's the focus we need to have. That's the level of achievement a believer needs to have. We don't live for tomorrow. We live for a future that we see a great nation of a Muslim ummah. And it starts from within. We can't look at each other and say, you know what, he's not doing it, I'm not doing it. No. Forget them, forget other people. Start from yourself. Worry about ourselves. Where am I going to start? How am I going to be a high achiever in this world? Because if I cannot be a high achiever, what am I going to preach? What are my children going to learn? Understand, my brothers and sisters, this is the meaning of manazilul himmah. So the first source of motivation. What is the first source of motivation? I want you to tap into your personal life and ask yourself this very question. What happened in my life that I can channel this sadness, this anger, this sense of injustice, and use it every day to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Ask yourself that. That what happened in my life that allows me to be so angry, so upset, so frustrated, that I can simply just channel that anger and channel that oppression that happened to me and allow myself to continue to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask yourself that. What drove Musa alayhi salatu wasalam? Two things. The first thing, Allah says, Inni ana Allahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budni. Allah told Musa, O Musa, what will drive you is to know that I am Allah. Understand that there is no God but Allah. I am the only deity that you worship. The first thing that drove Musa alayhi salatu wasalam as a prophet was him to know that Allah is in command and no one else. That was the first thing. And the second thing that drove Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to become a highly motivated prophet was for him to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam that a day will come that the day of judgment will happen. And when the day of judgment will happen, you will not know when that day will be. But when that day will come, لِتُجَزَى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا تَسْعَى. Every person will be compensated for the goodness that they have done in this world. The second thing that allowed Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to be a highly motivated prophet was for him to know that a judgment day will come. A judgment day will come. The next time you see oppression happening, The next time we see something happening in this world, that should drive us. I ask everyone today, if Gaza doesn't drive us, then what's going to drive us? If seeing children pass away because they have nothing to eat and drink is not going to drive us, then what's going to drive us? If we're continuing to fight with each other over petty little arguments, and we're not able to get together because we're upset that he didn't come to my son's wedding, or she didn't do this for me, or he talked to me a certain way, and if that's what's going to allow us to not talk to each other, but yet we see our children dying in Gaza, and that's not going to motivate us to get up from our seats and say, you know what, enough is enough. When are we going to move forward as an ummah? My brothers and sisters, find yourself. I ask you today, allow yourself to find your inner soul. Inside your inner soul, ask yourself, what am I going to answer to Allah on the Day of Judgment? Am I going to allow myself to be held back because of the problems I've been through in life? Or am I going to put those problems aside and focus on my future and my kids and the betterment of this ummah? Ask yourself that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to become amongst those people. There are highly achieved individuals in this world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us and enable us to become amongst those people that see Gaza free in this world, inshaAllah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us of our sins, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those people that are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is pleased with us. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quran al-Azim, wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-hakim, wa qulu qawli hadha astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa li sa'iril muslimin fastaghfiru innahu huwal ghafurur rahim.